Hello, hello. Welcome all to the Stars of Learning show. And my name is Jyoti Ji, and I'm your host for the show. And each fortnight, I interview the thought leaders in the learning industry who will share their best practices. We will also discuss challenges, solutions, latest trends, tools, technologies, and their leadership and their journey in the learning field. So, friends, today I want to talk about an interesting topic, and that is undeniable to begin from our moms at home, right? And women are consistently, actively contributing to making this country a better place. Even for the future, right? Whether it be through their efforts in households, what they bring, or the workplace, or you could see the government people or the welfare thing, right? Have you actually observed when women's accomplishment sometimes go unnoticed, and throughout the history we would have gone through this, right? And and sometimes it is pushed to the background. And recently I was reading a Deloitte report, okay, and it said that in India in the 21st century, they see many more women leadership roles, but at the boardroom, right? The diversity is still progressing at a snail pace. That's so disappointing, right? And that's the story on the ground. And there are many other challenges or, hiccups which women go through while they are in the career or moving up the ladder, could be personal, professional front. Uh, when I'm saying this, I'm sure many of you would be nodding head or going through this phase, and you might be thinking how to make a difference, or how could you add value to make a difference to the women in your life, right? So I'm also one of them, and hence this podcast, friends, because it's very special to me, because being a woman, mother of two, career focused, and being in an inspiration world, and a lot of my goals I need to meet. And if at all I have to scale, I have to move up, then I thought it's ideal to interact with someone who is with this kind of a background, right? Who have touched many women lives, like who had been there, hit the glass ceiling, made a difference, and they were able to grow, and they have dealt that everything is possible, and they're able to outshine. By the way, know this special person who is on my podcast today for a decade now, and I've seen a growth from corporate to entrepreneurship expansion, right? And needless to say, friends, her presence and interaction will be as exciting, because when I go through her LinkedIn profile, we are on the same network on the LND platform. So a lot of exciting things which she shares, which you will be able to unlock your beliefs and make it happening. Yeah. And the kind of challenges, ideas she brings in is so informative, and I'm sure you will all enjoy, right? And guys, the men out there, please don't switch off and don't log off, because you need to be playing a supporting pillar, okay? And we want you to be there to support all the women in your life. So put your gears on to lead where the path is. We are uncertain about it, but we want to look at different perspective and make it happen. So today we have here Shanti Sharma, founder, coach, and facilitator at Grow with Satori. The interesting part is a Tamilian, born in Nagpur, brought up and studied all in Delhi, married to a Rajasthani, and now settled in Bangalore. Look at the diversity she is bringing by herself, right? And for the last 16 years, she's in Bangalore. I've known her for a decade, and developing people is her passion, and she lives her passion, friends. When you have to look at her YouTube and the blogs what she write. She's enabling people to translate their potential into a meaningful work, and that's what is required in our day-to-day life. And that relationship, that support is right. if you inculcate, you will be able to build a high performing team, and for the organization you will be a value add. What more, she has many accolades, recognition, awards, certifications. I will not detail on it, but when you connect you will definitely get to see all those details. But a seasoned learning professional with 27 plus years of work experience, and she is dedicated completely to learning and development, and with a breadth of experience across various industries like IT, BPO, banking, and managed from a small to large multi-location complex projects. She would bring a lot of insight to the topic what we are talking on, women and her limiting belief. So friends, without any delay, let me welcome my guest Shanti Sharma. Shanti, once again a warm welcome to Stars of Learning podcast, and I'm so happy that you're joining me today.
Likewise, Jyoti, it feels so nice when somebody calls out or talks things about you. It is a pleasurable time to hear when somebody is talking about you. So thank you for giving me those moments of high, and I'm all geared to speak to our audience.
Thank you. Thank you. It's definitely an honor to have you on my show, Shanti. So, Shanti, as I told you, our topic today is about women leadership and her limiting belief. So, looking at your background, you from BSc Science to Maths honor to entrepreneurship, plus coaching and mentoring hat you're wearing, and many more, feather on your cap. So, to begin, I start with why, because I am great follower of Simon Sinek, and that's why why is it important to have women in leadership positions, and what are your thoughts, Shanti? Because I believe when you have women around you, you bring a lot of unique perspective and qualities during the discussion itself.
Absolutely. So, lovely question, Jyoti. Though you asked me what is the use of or the benefit of women being in leadership positions, I believe across the career, everybody can be a leader. So irrespective of a position, everybody can be a leader in their own place, in their own team, in their own role, even if they're individual contributors. So have that lens in mind as I'm going to talk through a couple of things. And absolutely, there is enough research backed by compelling anecdotes and leaders talking about the wealth of benefits that women bring to a leadership table. Yeah. I mean, the most recent ones I can think of are the McKinsey and the Catalyst ones, where there is enough research that tells that women help make better decisions at leadership tables. So those diverse groups of leaders that have a good mix of men and women, they are able to make decisions that help the company thrive and strive in toughest of the situations. So ensure that have the leadership group have a good representation of women. Sheryl Sandberg, in her book Lean In, she draws from her experience as a CEO of Facebook and emphasizes on how women leadership positively impact both the workplace culture as well as the profitability. So she says that women are able to generate profitability for the organization, possibly because of decision making, but she also talks about their empathy towards understanding the organization and team problems. Their ability to connect with people is far higher than that of the other gender, and hence they are able to generate a very strong bottom line. Then I can think of late Justice Ruth, I'm forgetting her last name, apologies. She very eloquently put, women belong to all places where decisions are being made. And I strongly believe that because their unique qualities of leadership, leading people who are their peers, or leading people who are senior to them, or leading people who report into them, they're able to manage these diverse kinds of audience very, very well. So
Mhm.
definitely all of these.
Oh,
Then there is
interesting.
research that talks about the feminine traits, which is kindness, compassion, empathy, collaboration. Always take. I mean, I can go on and on and on, and it's a topic which is very close to my heart. So yeah, we can. Um, we can debate on it for hours, but we cannot negate the fact that women leaders across all rungs in an organization bring in that diversity, which is very, very essential for the growth of the organization.
Interesting, and a lot of research items you brought in, and the feminine traits. Yes, we will talk about it in a little later section of my thought process on the things what I've lined up for you, Shanti. But while this became a base, for our further discussion and research, you did mention for a better decision and. Uh, a positive impact they're making and the diverse leadership kind of a capability, but women are often underrepresented in top leadership roles. What are the systemic barriers that that may contribute to this kind of a underrepresentation of women?
No, it is a complex issue, and I like your choice of words when you say it is systemic barriers. Um, I'm sure we'll talk more about barriers that women create for themselves, but let's focus right now on the systemic barriers. One, which is the gender stereotypes and biases, which is prevalent, whether it be bias at the hiring stage or the promotion stage, or even giving opportunities, or offering a certain kind of roles to women or not offering them a certain kind of roles. I think that plays a huge part in how women learn and grow in their organization. Second, I think we know the leaky pipeline is causing the lack of representation of women leaders and hence the lack of role models at the top. So women in their early career rungs or even early middle management, they don't have many women to look up to. So they don't know whether it's going to be an easy way for them, is it going to be tough and challenging for them, and how to overcome those challenges. And hence it's safe for them to withdraw and say, I will be a stay-at-home mom and take care of my child because that's what the world expects, and which is again another this thing. Another big expectation that women have to bear is that their caregiving responsibility in the household, how much of a progressive, whichever nation across the globe, I think still the caregiving responsibilities sit with the women. Have men stepped up? Are they shouldering those responsibilities? The answer is yes. In India, I would say the urban men are still very flexible. You will see lots of men cooking, cleaning, dropping their kids to school, or sitting down their children for homework. All of that is happening. But in the rural parts of India, the less urban parts of India, it is still a very male dominated, where the male comes home and expects the wife, who also works and comes home, to prepare a cup of tea, to teach the child, to clean the home and take care of the in-laws and so on and so forth. Again, lack of formal mentorship, coaching programs is another systemic gap. Last but not the least, I think lots of organizational policies, inflexible hours, how organizations define flexibility, what kind of policies are they making how are they making it easier for a woman to stay in the workforce? I think all of that matters, and hence you see a very underrepresented leadership of women.
Got it. And I like the way you brought in a lot of, caregiving part from women, the is so stereotype, right? So that one common thing is noticeable, men are still the majority, right, Shanti? So there are some common stereotype or biases. Definitely at home, there are many that women in leadership position often encounter. How can this be addressed?
You touched a raw nerve here, Jyoti. So, yeah, I mean, wow, what a power-packed question. I can go on and on for hours on this. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. One prevalent stereotype is the double bind, which, double bind refers to a situation where women leadership are facing conflicting expectations. They are expected to be assertive and firm, but if they are assertive and firm, they are branded and tagged as bossy and rude and aggressive,
Yeah.
So whereas a man, when they are firm, they are said, very gritty, very forward looking. So the adjectives change based on who is being firm, whether it is a man or a woman. I think that's a very big bias. Another big stereotype that I call as maternal bias is women coming back from a career break have lost their mojo. They really can't perform well. I think it's a big roadblock when people recruit back women into the workforce, or even
Yeah.
if they've not left the workforce, women with children, there is an assumption they will take leave, be less focused at work, they will want to leave early, they will not work in shift. So there are lots of these assumptions
True.
based on the fact the woman is a primary caregiver at home. um, Another one is you know uh, how do I put it? It's not a glass ceiling, it's a glass cliff, where I say, where, research has shown this, Jyoti, that
Mm.
women are identified and put in leadership positions to manage crisis.
Hmm. Okay.
And if they don't do well, it becomes the finger is pointed at the woman, not at the crisis situation. So when you keep putting women to shoulder crisis situations and then compare it to men who've not had to face all crisis situations, of course, it looks imbalanced, that men seem to have succeeded much better than the women. So there's a huge comparison there.
Hmm.
But the reality is, women are thrown into crisis situations, especially in leadership positions, and expected to perform. I think that stereotype that women should be challenged enough, pushed enough to be able to perform better. But yeah, true, but don't break their back in order to trying to push them to perform better.
True, true.
Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
and
we can go on this stereotype, which happens, the politics and assumptions and a lot of them. But just linking to the aspect what you told earlier, Shanti, Cheryl's book, Lean In, is something very interesting part. And especially for women to advance in the career, right? You did say they don't look upon, and you play a role of as you are a you yourself a ICF certified coach, right? And you're a mentor certified coach also. So tell me things, because I know many organizations run these kind of a programs, mentorship, coaching program, and all that, and sponsorship, right? Those things play a crucial role in advancing women in the leadership role. Can you share some experience, as you yourself is a certified coach, but thinking in that perspective can bring in a growth factor for that women who is playing that role?
I'll try my best, Jyoti. That is a tough one, to help people understand how coaching can actually transform lives. I'll start by quoting John Whitmore in his book, forgetting the name of the book, but he says, coaching unlocks the person's true potential. So, Hanumanji, when he had to fly to Sri Lanka, he forgot that he can actually take that bigger leap, a jump.
Mm.
Yeah, jump and actually reminded him, hey, buddy, you could jump up to the sun. So this is cakewalk for you. Go and do it. And he said, wow, I really can. I did it then, I can. And then he took that jump and he was successful. A coach plays that exact similar role. So it is not that women don't have potential or the confidence or the ability. They have it all within them. What a coach does is nudges them, intrigues them, challenges them, reminds them of the potential they have, and encourages them to take that leap. So when I typically explain to my clients what coaching is, I say coaching is like a candle in a dark room. Yeah. In the dark room, the table, chair, furniture, mirror, decorative, everything is already there, but nobody can see it. The moment you bring the candle into the room, everything becomes visible. That's the role of a coach. The coach
Mm.
helps you become more aware.
Ah,
Uh,
nice.
and that's how I enjoy women becoming more aware of their own potential, their own strengths, abilities, capabilities, possibilities.
Mm. Interesting. And while you were telling, right, about women, that feminine trait of step back on the things,
Hmm.
they always go through this conflict between her career and family. And especially when she gets into the motherhood, we have seen the dip in the women profession in the in the reports also we see that. And sometimes women, what they go through is that, that feminine trait again, the guilt and pressure of the society also makes her weak. Can you share your personal story or experience where you faced, Shanti, on this gender related challenges in your leadership journey, and how you got navigated them?
Yeah, sure. So, one, I do consider myself as one among the very fortunate women for having a very supportive family. My husband, my in-laws were very, very supportive throughout my career. And I was working for an organization that allowed me to work from home back in, 2002, 2003. I was one among the first women to put up my hand and say, I'm going to work. And so from that perspective, I think I was safe, I was protected. I never had that guilt of leaving my child alone. Being in a global role, I was able to work flexibly and everything. The challenge I had is in most of the leadership teams that I've been a part of, I've been the only woman.
Okay.
And when I've been the only woman, it brings in a very different kind of challenge. Small things, we are all gathering for a team meeting, and I'll see everybody talking about cricket. And I'm not too fascinated by cricket. So I will start doing my own stuff. And then the men in the room will realize, oh, Shanti is discouraged. Let's not talk about cricket. Let's get talking about cricket. Or small things like, they'll all plan for a drinks dinner party starting at 9. And I'll say, I have to excuse myself, and sometimes they would be considered and start at 6, but then it was difficult for them to also start at 6, which means they have to leave work early. So there were lots of, it wasn't very easy for us to gel. I don't smoke. They would all hang out at the smoking place and, enjoy casual talk, which the casual talk could also lead to very professional discussions around a key project, a key opportunity around. So there were few things that I really could not be a part of, and I had to step back. The smoking one, I really did that. I would go and stand with them with my cup of chai in their smoking zone. And I'll keep teasing them that you're making me a passive smoker and blah, blah, blah. But I would stay along with them to be part of the conversation. So yeah, there have been gives and takes, but I think it's very lonely at the top for a woman.
Okay. And with that, sometimes, that and maybe that's the reason many women are not opting for it. And that's what I read in the Deloitte report, Shanti. It was so inspiring. I mean, it's such an eye opener to know so many challenges, so many, things which get into women's head. And that's why the diversity is progressing at a snail pace. So for a women leadership, are there emerging trends or the development in the field of women in leadership that, we should be aware of or mindful or practice them so that, we be successful? What are your thoughts on these?
Getting equality for women is a long journey. So there have been practices like, special training, enablement, mentorship programs in several organizations. One that I would really like to call out that is picking up steam right now is the efforts that corporates are putting around women, returnee women, women who've been on a sabbatical to take care of their family or caregiving responsibilities, and they are now coming back. And a lot of them do a very phenomenal job of identifying these women, identifying the right roles for them, giving them the right opportunity, flexibility, etc. That part has been great, but only even fewer. I mean, this itself is happening in very few organizations, and even fewer, a very small percentage, are actually focusing on what happens to these women beyond the fact that they are into the workforce. So when they're back into the workforce, there is so much of turmoil in them already because they see people 5-6 years younger to them at par with them. The others are far technologically savvy. They know about the organization. The ways of working have changed. So they find it a little bit out of place. And it's a very small percentage of organizations that really support women in their initial few months or years to settle into the workforce. And I think I'm seeing that increase. And that's one trend that I'm very happy about, being increased.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think sometimes, Shanti, we as a women also need to be proactive, not disconnected completely just because you've stepped back, but be connected, be network, build that capability. And when you're coming back, you're bang on ready with the things. So Shanti, just to connect to this, I do practice to be focused, motivated, and being consistency, and in whatever I do, that C and D, like consistency and discipline, something that I follow, like to lead or, to achieve whatever the goals or the plans, whatever want to accomplish, right? Sometimes I stumble too. Yeah. So
All of us
can,
do. Yeah.
so can you share your secrets, Shanti? What strategies can, women can employ to navigate that glass ceiling? And there are challenges. They will hit that glass ceiling, and how can they do that breakthrough?
Lovely. I will start with your point only, Jyoti, building that strong network. And in that network should be mentors, sponsors, coaches, peers, allies, champions, friends.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, all of this has to be part of their network that can help them provide guidance, support, and opportunities. Networking opens doors to opportunities like anything. In fact, me becoming an entrepreneur is a there's a story behind it. Several years ago, when my organization had decided to go, the organization keep moving from centralized to decentralized and then back to centralized. In one such move, there was a possibility that me and my team may not have a role going forward, and I had about 3 months to figure out what to do. And in conversations with several people in terms of what can I do, do you have an opportunity, this is what is happening in my organization, there is one person, he's still my mentor. He said, Shanti, you are an amazing facilitator, why don't you start your own training company? And I'm
mm,
like, wow, nobody asked me that ever.
mm,
No. So, and he still supports me in terms of, I'm a good facilitator, I'm a good coach, but I'm not a good businesswoman. So he gives me those business tips even today in order to, so having that network, I think is very, very key as the first point in order to break that glass ceiling. Another one is to um, identify mentor and coaches and tell them, I want to be mentored by you. I want to be coached by you, and not hesitate to spend on that. I think we women, we spend a lot on parlors, dresses,
mm,
food for children, decorative pieces. We forget to set aside some money, some time for ourselves, the time to learn and grow for ourselves. I think that investment is missing. And
mm.
when we don't invest in ourselves, we are not able to keep up to the times, to the requirements in the environment, and hence not ready when an opportunity lands our way. I think that's very,
Mm.
very key.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
must also not be shy to promote our accomplishments, right? Just put up our hand and say, I did it. We,
True.
we always keep believing, no, we are tooting our own trumpet and that isn't good. Will somebody think I'm boastful? No, nobody is bothered about you being boastful. They don't have that time and energy. You are
Yeah.
the one who has to go and tell them what you've done. Otherwise,
Mm.
expecting that your busy managers and leaders are on the look with a binocular, what has Shanti done? They don't have that time. So you only
They
have
don't
to go
have.
and tell.
Yeah, true, true, Shanti. And I'm able to resonate what you're telling, Shanti. Women mostly compromise a lot and always look for others' betterment. Like you said, even a small investment, they don't want to do for it for themselves, and and in the process, she forgets to aspire for her itself. So there are some common limiting beliefs, Shanti, that working women may hold. I feel that, and I sometimes I also get to that zone about their career prospects and abilities. So what do you think those common limiting beliefs which we need to knock off?
Lovely. And that is my favorite question, if I have to say so far. Um, So there are a couple of books that are my favorite on this topic. One is Sally Helgeson's How Women Rise, and she talks about the 12 limiting beliefs that
Okay.
hold women back. And as I was reading the book, I was going like, oh my God, this is true for me. Oh my God, this also is true for me. Oh my God, this also is true for me.
Hmm.
And when I'm using that in my workshops extensively, and I see how women can resonate. I mean, there are 12, so I won't talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about a couple. The first one she says is perfection trap, where we women believe unless and until um, the outcome is perfect, we will not proceed. It could be as simple as there is enough research that says women, unless and until they have 80 to 100% of the skills matching for a job interview, they will not apply. Whereas men
Ah.
will apply with 40 to 60% of matching skills also, they will apply. Why? Because women want to land the job performing high. Whereas men will think, I will land the job and I will learn on the way. So
Ah.
that perfection trap holds them back. Small things like when women make a presentation, they write a piece of code, they keep looking at it again and again. Have I done it well? Can I make it better? Can this be perfect? And the reality is, there is no perfect.
Yeah.
Your own job that you put down today thinking this is perfect, you come back to it 2 days later, you'll say, oh, I can tweak this, I can make it better.
True, true.
And when there is always a better, you can't be perfect, right? Then you are holding yourself back from moving ahead because you're constantly in that loop of making it better, making it better. That's a big one.
Yeah.
The second one, I think many of us, and as I told, no, they fail to claim their achievements. If
Mm.
I've done it, I will hesitate to share, and then I will crib that my manager hasn't noticed. My manager notices the accomplishments of the men in the group, but not mine. The reason being, the men put it in the status report saying, "My accomplishments. This is the support I need from you. This is what I'm planning in the next month or quarter." We women don't keep updating, and we
True.
hope the manager will magically look at it.
Mm-hmm.
If I have time, I'd like to call out one big one is, I think, very similar, no? Not leveraging relationships. If you just ask women, how many of you have requested a professional help in your family WhatsApp group or school or college WhatsApp groups? The answer will be no. Those are my friends and family. I can't ask them for professional help. Whoever said this, God alone knows, but these are holding them back from leveraging their network.
Mm. True, true. I think the last one was a bang on. I think all of them, whatever you said, right? My manager actually, it was little slap, okay, telling that, that I'm not looking at a perfection, but give me whatever it is. You're looking to make it best, but I'm running out of my time. And even if you're given the best, it's not going to serve the purpose. So that was a big message. And if I'm in the career, if I am able to move up and I'm here today, it's because of those 3-letter word, ask for help. And I had to I was wanting to give up my career. I have signed my paper. I wanted to go and drop it. Okay. And on the way, my friend stopped me. My neighbor stopped me actually and said, hey, Jyoti, what happened? You look dull. You're not that energetic. Yes, I said, I'm going to put down my paper today. But for what? Just because of the kid, but why? And she started taking care of my kid and I continued my career. Yeah. So it was just one small discussion, and we are like a lifelong friends now. Just a neighbor and that one interaction. So definitely, I keep telling many women who come into my life also, just ask for help. It makes a difference, or just call it out. You know things like that. Yeah, so Shanti, is so inspiring to connect on these things again, and unfortunately, right, women are characterized as emotional, and women may not always realize their potential. For example, myself itself, right, people were saying that you can be a light for many of them, calling out with my name, but then I was not able to connect that. So tell me, how can women balance these demands of leadership, keeping personal and family life also, because that balance, if it's not there, that support system is essential to achieve that balance. Shanti, unlike you were lucky, you had that kind of a support in the uh, family side. Not all women have that luxury. So what would be your say on that?
And you, I think, hit the nail on its head. Majority of the women are not as fortunate. As I'm engaging in coaching women, they find it, bizarre that my husband cooks so well. My son, who is all of 17, manages the kitchen on his own, and they're like, "Wow, how did that happen?" And I think delegate, delegate, delegate. Uh, Delegate your work, whether it be at home, at office, anywhere. And when you delegate, you start by asking, can you help me? If yes, here is the help I need you. And then you give away that task. And it's okay for them to do the task their own way. For example, my son, when he cooks dinner, he can't cook any dishes. Huh? He'll always cook Firangi dishes. And, it'll be, I can't even pronounce those dishes. And as long as he's ensuring that all our stomachs are filled, I think it really doesn't matter.
True.
So let him do his way.
Yeah.
Likewise, at work, I think it's important to find out those people who can help and pitch in and give that work to them without maintaining your standards of perfection. A small story I'll tell you. I was working from home between 2002 to 2015, and then I joined an organization where I was required to go to office every day. It was a conscious decision, aware decision. My kids had grown up, so I thought I'll be able to manage it. While at home, I would cook for them. I would fold the dried clothes, put them in the proper place in the almirah, ensure that the house was clean, ensure that the kitchen was clean. And then when I had to go to office every day, there was no choice but to engage with domestic help. And then she would fold the clothes in a certain way. The moment I would get back home, I would unfold each piece of cloth, murmuring, this is not the way it's done. The angles, the cloth is not folded at right angles. This one is big, one is small. And in a month, I realized I'm paying her. I'm still spending the same amount of time, energy, effort, and getting more stressed. And in the end, the folded clothes have to go into the almirah, and nobody ever gets to know which cloth was folded how.
True.
And it was meaningless. And that delegation means if I give it to the maid, it doesn't matter how she does it. It is okay for her to. Remembering that is key. And one very tactical thing is, half the time we women don't ask for support in terms of flexi work arrangements. Can I start my work day at 10 because, or can I start early and end early because, can I work 3 days a week because I'm okay to take a salary cut, but this much is what I can work. So putting forth these requests to HR and ensuring that, they get met is really something that's going to help women maintain that balance between profession and their personal life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes. So Shanti, I know, I think the kind of things, flexi hours, and asking for help, and some of the uh, topics or discussions or the pain points, women has to take that lead. And I'm sure there are many organizations that have implemented that kind of initiatives to foster career growth and advancement for women, right? And since you work with many women and organization, can you highlight any of these trends which you already mentioned? One is flexi hours, um, you know um, or working from home, hybrid model, and things like that. Anything which comes to your mind?
Yeah. Number of them. I'm going to take it along the life cycle of a woman's career. So there are organizations that have policies around resumes received. If the recruiters give more male resumes versus female resumes, the business will ask them to go and hunt for more women resumes so that there is equal number of men and women resumes to shortlist. Then there are policies around the interview panel having a good mix of men and women so that any kind of biases can be eliminated. Of course, there is lots of this bias training and sensitization around, how to not let the bias shadow or color the decision-making capabilities of managers. That kind of training is offered. In their career journey in the organization, once they've been recruited, I think there are policies that are, for women's safety, women working after 8, or, policies around how they are given additional boost of mentorship or additional training, helping them understand the limiting. So the workshops that I do are predominantly for these women professionals in corporates, where they go through all the other technical professional development, all of that they go through, but there is this additional stuff that happens only for women employees, where they become more aware of their limiting beliefs and how to overcome them. That helps the organization maintain the pipeline of women through the organization.
Yeah.
Then there are organizations that ensure that when a woman goes on a break, a sabbatical, either a maternity leave or a carer's leave or a study leave or whatever, they maintain that connect with the employee. Saying that, these are some free trainings we are offering, be part of it, come and, meet and engage with us, so that the woman does not feel completely disconnected when she is joining back the workforce.
Got
And
it.
when organizations that organize these returnship programs are very mindfully ensuring that these women are skilled, supported, mentored, and coached. There is, they give them an internship to see whether they're liking the job and the organization is able to accommodate their needs, and then they confirm them. And then there is ongoing support and ensuring that, I know it becomes a little bit a sticky place where organizations say we need 40% women in management, so they open leadership positions for women. I know the organizations get lots of backlash and there is resistance. I agree too. I don't think that women should be put up in positions that are only women only positions. Rather, give them the right opportunities, and if they are skilled, encourage them to perform, give them the support that they need to perform, rather than saying, these are women only positions and we have to fill X percentage.
True,
Those are some things that I've seen organizations have been doing pretty well.
Interesting. So definitely, Shanti, women, that struggle is there and it is continuous. There's no choice, but we need to know how to deal with it. And there are a lot of options. Support system is available. That's what I understand from our discussion. But then, women, that struggling is there from centuries, right? And you did say your husband, your family did a great supporting to you. In what ways can you highlight to men to be allies or advocates for women leadership?
Such a beautiful question, and I'm glad that you asked. I think there is too much of pressure on women to step up, to take risks, to take leadership positions, to overcome their barriers, where the other gender knows how to do it, has been experiencing all of this over centuries. Now it's a wonderful time for them to give back to the women that have been supporting them, reaching that stage in their career, in their thinking patterns, in their ability to learn and grow and be on their own, etc. Definitely men have to be aware of their own biases and ensure that that bias does not come in the way of growing women in their teams. Simple things like I've overheard conversations in organizations I've worked where the male member in the team is complaining about the organization that the wife is working because they're asking her to stay late and finish. But when the woman in his team is asking that can she leave early, there is an issue. So it needs to be different measures for women in my family versus in my team. I think men need to balance that, saying that, if I'm expecting if I'm expecting certain benefits, certain support that my wife is getting, my daughter is getting, my sister is getting, can I offer that same kind of support at my workplace too? Be mentors, sponsors to other women where you see potential, where you see the skills, and that support, sponsorship, mentorship, it might be a very small thing. And I'll give you an example. In an organization that I'd worked for, my manager had moved out of the team. Yeah. Okay. And it was towards the end of the financial year. They could not replace it before the approvals they got. And so they had to get somebody else from another team to help and support fill in that position. It was a global role, and I could not step up at that point in time. But our career levels, me and my manager, our career levels were same.
Okay.
And my manager, who was a male, had two opportunities, two options in front of him. One, he steps up to be the manager and I lose my job.
Yeah.
Or both of us remain at the same level. I report into him and we figure out how to do the annual reviews, because it'll be, we'll be pitching against each other. He chose option two, and that was such an amazing surprise.
Wow.
Eventually, the next year when we got approval, he did get promoted. But that year's annual review, we had a third person be our manager, where I pitched my case, he pitched his case, and actually we were competing against each other. But that was such a brave, supportive thing to do, where he said, I can't do everything on my own and I need this woman to support me in my job. And she knows this place. She's been working there. I'm just stepping in for a time and I don't know how long I'll stay. That was a wonderful thing. One more thing I think men should do is, when they overhear conversations that are derogatory, demeaning, belittling women, I think they should speak up. They should point and say,
Truly.
that is not appropriate. That is not okay. And set that example of what does okay mean. I think a lot of men have grown feeling so entitled, they might not even be aware of what is not okay. So just sensitizing them of what is okay and not okay is very, very important. Small things, ensuring equal air time in a meeting, equal screen time in a Zoom meeting, equal lay out the opportunity. Let both men and women pick what parts of the project they would want to do. Ensuring equality wherever possible are things that men can really, really support.
Yeah. Integrity at top, I would say. No compromise there at all. Right, right. And definitely, Shanti, I just want to give a big shout out to all the men who are doing that great job, right? And there are many men who play a major role in my life, starts from my supporting pillar, my husband, followed with my son and my dad. And gratitude to many of the men who stood by me, the kind of a manager you were talking, right? I had all the good managers. I mean, very how do I put it? Very strict, but they brought the best in me, and yeah. So that's what we have to be open about. Yes, grumping is there, but then when you understand the importance of leveraging both men and women in the society, it's a beautiful out there. Yeah. So thank you, you very well laid out the supporting pillar, Shanti, about your boss. Great example. So wrapping up, Shanti, is there any advice or a last tip? I don't say it's a last tip, but then a suggestion you want to share for the women who is actually in the career and may want to step down, or or they are looking at moving up the ladder. What I'm looking at is, I want the women all to be career focused. Your thoughts?
Yeah, why not? Why can't they be career and focusing on themselves and their families? Yeah, it need not be an or. I think removing that or and putting an and, I think I'll start from there. And they can do that first and foremost by not hesitating to ask for help, whether it is at home, whether it is from their manager, from their peer, from their neighbor who could pick up their kid from a bus stop while she's on a meeting. Even I've done that also. It is when you ask for help, I think help pours in. But don't expect and wait that people will notice and ask for help. That might not happen. In airlines, they say, first put on your mask before you help others. I think that applies to women. Before trying to help others and please others and take care of others, please take care of yourself, your health, your sanity, your wellness. Before you try and help others, you'll be able to help others much better if you are feeling happy within, if you are feeling content and grateful and happy and fulfilled within.
Yeah. It's a complete lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Last one thing is, I think women, the life of a woman goes through so many ups and downs. Marriage suddenly into a new family, child comes suddenly, so many responsibilities.
True.
Then the children start going to school and college, and suddenly then she finds an empty nest. Kids are, nobody is at home, she's alone. I think we
Mm.
need to educate women and prepare women for handling each of those stages. I am getting to that stage where my daughter, she's about to, be on her own, and she's figuring out where to go and how to stay on her own. My son is in 12th, and very soon he'll reach that stage. And it is important for me to now figure out how am I going to use my time, that every day evening I used to go home and talk to them. How was your day? What happened? I know there's going to be a vacuum. One is I
Mm.
can hold on tight to them, which I know will not be successful. I can't hold on tight to them. So I have to
True.
let them. And I need to figure out. Likewise, women who are having these new responsibilities of a new baby, taking care of a sick mother-in-law, father-in-law, in that stage of life, they need to figure out what works for them. It's okay for something to be forefront. There may be stages where their career takes a backseat. That's okay. But they need to figure out when to bring it back. Once
Mm.
taken a backseat does not mean it can't come back to life again.
True, true. Very well laid out, Shanti. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the links and the resources which we have discussed in this episode, right, will be made available because Shanti brought in a lot of books, a lot of research details. It will be available in my show notes page on Stars of Learning and also on my website, prajvitaknowledge.com. That is PRAJVITA knowledge.com. So, thank you so much, Shanti, for being on this show. I think I really enjoyed all the nuggets on the women and her limiting belief, her emotions, her feminine traits, and many other things, right? And and I think you voiced out believing that, the movement has to be together with both men and women to set up this kind of a framework to encourage the representation of women. I think I really loved that part when you spoke about your manager. Bringing that kind of a position in the industry can happen with the support system. Yeah. And to all my listeners, it starts from home, guys. So you can't run the show without your mom at home, without the influence of a woman. The society is definitely incomplete. So uh, there are many hundreds of women leaders whose life experience are motivating, starting from Sudha Murthy to Kiran Bedi to many others, right? Um, who have been there in that positions and made that kind of a difference, right? And the kind of a books which Shanti has referred could also create a great input for you with superb classic examples. How woman lives, lean in is another one which she mentioned. There are a couple of other reports which she has mentioned. I'll put that in. So thank you so much, Shanti. um, uh, it's like it's so much close to heart, I should say, this podcast. Thank you for that.
I can sense that. I can sense that. I enjoyed it thoroughly too. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I think you brought out towards the end a very powerful point. I think the change starts at home. And I didn't talk about it. And that's one thing I would add. I mean, teach your son, teach your brother how to respect women, how to enable women, how to grow women, how to support women. And that itself brings forth a generation of men that are so supportive. They are allies to their sisters, to their colleagues, to their peers. It's going to be such a beautiful world soon.
Yeah, true, true. I'm glad we had this conversation. Shanti, thank you once again. So, friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Shanti and myself. And if you have got any learning or motivated hearing to her, then please tag Shanti and myself on this post, it on social media. And it's definitely good, if you share when and help many others to engage, enlighten, and empower. And I will also be grateful to all my lovely listeners who are tuning in, subscribes, and leaves a comment. If you have not done that yet, that would mean a world to me. So please head over to whatever the app you're using. Take a minute to write to us so that it will help our podcast grow. I really appreciate your support. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now. Take good care of yourself, be safe, and do something engaging, enlightening, and empowering. Thank you.